Can you imagine the painful feeling of having it all, fame, wealth, and fans, and then having it all vanish in the blink of an eye? Today, we will revisit the stories of 25 African-American stars who completely ruined their lives after falling into addiction. Be sure to follow along, because this list will shock you. Leave a comment with the number 1, and let's get started right away, starting with the heartbreaking and tragic story of Earl Simmons, better known by his stage name, DMX. Earl Simmons, globally known as DMX, was one of the most influential and controversial rappers of his generation, famous for his raw lyrics, powerful vocal style, and dramatic performances. Despite being one of the most legendary hip-hop artists with numerous prestigious awards, his legacy was overshadowed by the negative impact of addiction. His career began in 1985 when he beatboxed for a local rapper named Reddy Ron during small performances. He later decided to pursue a rap career under the name DMX, which stands for Divine Master of the Unknown, and later, Darkman X. It was around this time that his struggles with addiction began. In a November 2020 interview, DMX revealed that he first became addicted to cocaine after Reddy Ron tricked him into smoking a cigarette laced with the drug. This led to a long and painful battle with addiction. Despite multiple stints in rehab over the years, DMX was unable to maintain his sobriety. Tragedy struck on the night of April 2, 2021, when he was rushed to White Plains Hospital after suffering a heart attack at home, caused by a deadly combination of stimulants, alcohol, and complications from an infection. Unfortunately, he went into respiratory failure and brain damage, and after several days, he lost the function of several vital organs, including his liver, kidneys, and lungs. He was declared dead at the age of 50. His story remains one of the most heartbreaking examples of how addiction can destroy a person's life. Another tragic example of a black star caught in the whirlwind of substance abuse is Whitney Houston. Houston is still remembered as one of the greatest voices in music history, known for her powerful, flawless vocals and timeless hits that influenced generations of musicians. She had it all: fame, fortune, and countless awards, with over 220 million records sold worldwide. However, the tragedy began in the late 1980s and 1990s when she started displaying erratic behavior, signaling the onset of her addiction problems. On February 11, 2012, the world lost a shining star when Houston was found unconscious and submerged in the bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office reported that her death was due to drowning, with the contributing factors of arteriosclerotic heart disease and cocaine use. The office also revealed that the amount of cocaine in her system indicated that she had used the drug shortly before her passing, leading to her fatal drowning. Her death remains one of the most heartbreaking reminders in the entertainment industry and within the African American community of how addiction can alter a person's life. Another African-American star who faced severe struggles with addiction was Rick James, known as one of the most influential and prominent musicians of his time, especially with his unique blend of rhythm and blues, funk, and rock. Rick rose to stardom in 1978 with his breakthrough album Come Get It, which included the hit song You and I. However, as his career soared, he became surrounded by the temptations that come with fame, including drugs, alcohol, and a constant cycle of wild parties. Ultimately, he turned to substances as a way to cope with the pressures of the music industry and to keep up with his high-energy performances. Over time, what began as recreational drug use eventually spiraled into a full-blown addiction. The situation worsened to the point where Rick admitted to spending thousands of dollars every week on these substances. This marked the beginning of his downfall. His health began to deteriorate, and he developed serious medical issues, including diabetes, strokes, and heart attacks. Fans around the world were shocked when Rick James was found dead on the morning of August 6, 2004, at his home in Los Angeles. An autopsy revealed that there were over 9 different substances in his system, but the coroner reported that none of the substances or combinations were directly life-threatening. He passed away at the age of 56. Samuel L. Jackson, the legendary actor and Hollywood icon, also finds himself on this list. Jackson has had a highly successful career spanning over 4 decades and remains one of the most widely recognized actors of his generation. His films have grossed over $27 billion worldwide, making him the highest-grossing actor of all time. Surprisingly, Jackson's path to the top was far from smooth. In the late 1970s, as his career began to take off, Jackson struggled with alcohol and substance abuse. Initially, he used them as a coping mechanism for the pressures of the highly competitive industry and the depression caused by financial struggles and mounting bills. However, over time, this became a serious issue, affecting both his personal life and career. The reality of his struggles didn't become clear until 1991, when he returned home drunk after a farewell party with friends. His wife found him unconscious on the kitchen floor and begged him to seek help. Fortunately, Jackson was able to overcome his addiction after multiple stints in rehabilitation centers. However, looking back on his years of substance abuse, he admitted that addiction had hindered his acting career. He believes that his performances could have been even more remarkable if it hadn't been for the interference of drugs and alcohol. Marvin Gaye, an iconic figure in the history of rhythm and blues and soul music, particularly within the African American community, faced a tragic battle with addiction behind the fame and success of his music career. His struggle with substance abuse began when he was introduced to cocaine in the early 1960s. By the late 1970s, his dependence on the drug had become severe. Despite several attempts to seek help, Gaye found himself trapped in a vicious cycle of rehab and relapse. His addiction was compounded by intense anxiety and depression, which ultimately affected both his personal life and musical career. Marvin Gaye's paranoia and struggles with his addiction reached such extremes that he began wearing a bulletproof vest, only removing it when performing on stage or returning home, believing that someone was conspiring to kill him. His mental and emotional distress escalated, culminating in a heartbreaking tragedy on April 1, 1984. After a heated argument, his father, in an unfortunate turn of events, took Marvin's life. The loss was not only a personal tragedy for his family, but also a devastating blow to his fans and the African American community. When Gaye passed, traces of cocaine were found in his system, a stark reminder of the impact addiction had on his life and career. Lamar Odom, a talented professional basketball player widely known to the public, is a heartbreaking example of how a promising career can be cut short by the effects of substance abuse. Lamar's basketball career flourished in the early 2000s, and he eventually joined the Los Angeles Lakers, where he played alongside legend Kobe Bryant. He helped the Lakers win back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010, and was awarded the NBA's Sixth Man of the Year in 2011. However, despite his significant success on the court, Lamar struggled with substance abuse issues. In an interview with TMZ, Lamar revealed that his situation had become so dire that while he was married to his ex-wife Khloe Kardashian, a woman he was involved with used his phone to call her to pick him up. His career was also affected by the tragedy. On October 13, 2015, he suffered a drug overdose at a brothel in Nevada. He went into kidney failure, had multiple heart attacks, 12 strokes, fell into a coma, and had to be put on a ventilator. This medical crisis marked the end of both his marriage and his career as a professional basketball player. Richard Pryor is regarded as one of the greatest and most influential comedians of all time. He had a successful career in entertainment, winning prestigious awards, including an Emmy and 5 Grammys. However, his decline began with his descent into drug addiction and alcoholism. By the late 1970s, Pryor had become so addicted that he became famous for his erratic behavior, which caused friends and collaborators to distance themselves, leading to numerous legal, financial, and personal troubles. His addiction was so severe that his wife at the time, Jennifer Lee, revealed that she left him after discovering he was using cocaine. She said, "After 2 weeks of watching him spiral into addiction, I left. It was clear that the drug had become his lover and nothing I did seemed to matter anymore." In 1977, after years of smoking and drinking, Pryor suffered a mild heart attack at just 36 years old. He experienced a second heart attack in 1990, and on the morning of December 10, 2005, he passed away after a third heart attack at his home in Los Angeles. Reports indicated that his fatal heart attack was caused by coronary artery disease, partly as a result of his years of smoking. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., known by his stage name T.I., is another African-American rapper and actor who has faced a fierce battle with addiction. Early in his career, he became involved in drug dealing and experimented with illicit substances, and things took a turn for the worse after his release from prison on March 26, 2010, following a conviction on weapon-related charges. T.I. began using prescription painkillers to alleviate pain from dental surgeries. However, what started as a way to treat his pain quickly spiraled into a severe addiction. Fortunately, he overcame this addiction, and in recent years, T.I. has turned his personal struggles with addiction into a platform for positive change. He has been open about the difficulties he faced with substance abuse and the steps he has taken to recover. T.I. has also become an advocate for rehabilitation rather than punishment for offenders, particularly in the African American community. The story of Michael K. Williams, the Hollywood actor known for his memorable roles in The Wire and Boardwalk Empire, is both captivating and tragic. Williams became a household name for his portrayal of Omar Little, a principled yet terrifying robber in The Wire. However, playing a character entrenched in the world of drugs took a significant toll on Williams, deeply affecting his mental and emotional well-being, leading him to struggle with addiction himself. He soon developed a smoking habit, which eventually escalated into a dependency on various substances. On September 6, 2021, at the age of 54, Williams was found dead in his Brooklyn apartment by his nephew. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office confirmed his death as a result of an overdose, involving a combination of more than 4 different substances. His tragic passing came just months after he had openly shared that he was seeking treatment for his mental health struggles and addiction. Williams' death serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the devastating impact that addiction can have, even on those who have achieved great success in their careers. D'Angelo, the famous singer-songwriter and producer, is another prime example of a black celebrity who has struggled with addiction. He is widely known for his R&B and soul music from the mid-1990s, particularly with albums like Brown Sugar and Voodoo. After the massive success of these albums, D'Angelo's appearance became a topic of public and media attention. While this increased his fame, it also began to affect his mental health. D'Angelo decided to step away from the public eye, and on the final day of his 8-month tour, he told his bandmates, "I can't wait for this tour to end. I'm going into the woods, I'm going to drink, grow my beard, and gain weight." And that's exactly what he did. However, as he withdrew from the public eye, his life took a darker turn as he began to struggle with alcohol and substance abuse. He admitted that initially, he used them as a way to cope with the pressure and stress of fame. Unfortunately, things spiraled out of control, leading to several arrests and a near-fatal car accident in 2005. Fortunately, he made a comeback in 2014 with the album Black Messiah, proving that despite going through a difficult period, he didn't give up. However, unlike D'Angelo, many other black stars didn't get the chance to change and live a sober life. Pimp C, the famous rapper and producer, is one of the sad examples of those who couldn't overcome addiction. He was one half of the underground hip-hop duo UGK with Bun B, and the group released their breakthrough album Too Hard to Swallow in 1992, followed by successful albums like Super Tight and Ridin' Dirty, which solidified their influence in the hip-hop community. Pimp C's struggle with addiction began as he faced pressures and challenges within the hip-hop industry. Tragedy struck on the morning of December 4, 2007, when he was found unconscious in his hotel room in West Hollywood, California. Medical staff declared him dead shortly afterward. His death was determined to be due to an overdose of cough syrup, compounded by sleep apnea, a condition that can cause breathing to stop for 30 seconds during sleep. Pimp C's tragic life ended at the age of 30, highlighting the devastating impact of substance abuse. Nate Dogg, one of the iconic figures in hip-hop, was known as the King of Hooks for his deep voice and unforgettable choruses on many classic West Coast rap tracks. However, alongside his immense contributions to music, Nate Dogg's life was also deeply affected by issues of addiction. Growing up in an environment surrounded by substances, this influence played a significant role in shaping his lifestyle and decisions. Over time, alcohol, drugs, and partying became an everyday part of his life, impacting both his health and his personal relationships. Unfortunately, on December 19, 2007, after years of substance abuse, Nate suffered a stroke, but was fortunate enough to recover after spending a week in the hospital and undergoing rehabilitation. However, he continued to abuse alcohol and drugs throughout his recovery process. On September 12, 2008, he suffered another stroke and tragically passed away on March 15, 2011, at the age of 41 in Long Beach, due to complications from multiple strokes and congestive heart failure. Snoop Dogg, real name Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr., is famously associated with marijuana use. He has been very open about his love for cannabis throughout his career, and it has become a central part of his public persona. While he hasn't publicly referred to himself as a drug addict, he has often joked about being a regular user of marijuana, and it has been a recurring theme in his music, lifestyle, and branding. Snoop Dogg has also advocated for the legalization of marijuana and has even launched his own cannabis brand, Leafs by Snoop. His use of cannabis, especially in the context of a celebrity who promotes it as part of his image, has led to discussions about his relationship with it, with many fans considering it a part of his laid-back West Coast persona. However, there are no reports suggesting he has struggled with addiction in the way many would define it, like with substance dependence or the negative life impacts often associated with addiction. Instead, his cannabis use seems to be a personal choice and part of his larger public identity. Lil' Kim, born Kimberly Denise Jones, is a pioneering black rapper and an icon in the hip-hop world. She has cemented her place as one of the most influential women in rap. However, beneath her tough gangster image lies a deeply vulnerable person who has fought a long battle with substance abuse and addiction. Lil' Kim's struggle with drugs began when she left home at the age of 14 and entered the dangerous world of drug dealers and traffickers to survive. She started doing menial tasks for these dealers and gradually became dependent on substances to cope with feelings of insecurity and low self-esteem. Her relationship with Notorious Big also played a significant role in her struggle with addiction, and after his death in 1997, her problems worsened. This created immense pressure on her personal life, career, and health, even leading to legal troubles. In 2005, she was convicted of perjury and conspiracy for lying to a grand jury about the involvement of her friends in a shooting incident. After being released from prison, her struggles only deepened. Lil' Kim tried to revive her career, but the lingering effects of her addiction continued to challenge her. Lauryn Hill, the legendary singer, songwriter, and rapper, is one of the most influential artists in music history, with over 50 million albums sold globally. She is one of the best-selling female rappers of all time. Unfortunately, the pressure to maintain her public image, combined with her relentless touring schedule and fan expectations, became an overwhelming burden for her. In 2000, Hill disappeared from the public eye. This period was a very stressful time for her, during which she also fired her management team, stopped doing interviews, watching TV, and listening to music. She also began displaying erratic behaviors related to substance abuse and dependency. Despite facing these challenges, Lauryn Hill remains one of the most respected figures in the music industry. Eddie Griffin, the famous comedian, actor, and writer known for his work in stand-up comedy and films like Undercover Brother and Malcolm and Eddie, is a prime example of a black star who faced struggles with addiction. Griffin has a sharp wit and an unfiltered comedic style, which helped him stand out early in his career. However, like many others, Griffin fell into substance abuse. His lifestyle, with late nights and a demanding work schedule, made him susceptible to addiction. This led to erratic behavior in his personal life, damaging his relationships and career. Fortunately, Griffin overcame his addiction and now never misses an opportunity to speak out against the negative impacts of alcohol and drugs. In a recent interview, he emphasized his goal and journey as a way to bring hope in despair, joy amid sorrow, love in the face of hate, and truth in the midst of alternative facts. Nate Robinson, a former professional basketball player and standout athlete, won the hearts of sports fans with his impressive slam dunks and competitive spirit. Standing at just 5'9", Robinson became a three-time champion of the slam dunk contest in 2010, proving that heart and talent can overcome physical limits. Despite such great success, Nate fell into the grip of alcohol addiction. His drinking, which initially started moderately, gradually became more frequent and began to affect his performance on the court as well as his family relationships. In 2022, Robinson revealed that he had been dealing with kidney disease, a result of years of alcohol abuse. By April 2024, his kidney condition worsened to the point where he would need a kidney transplant to replace his failing one in order to live a long life. In a conversation with Men's Health magazine, he said, "I have to be here. I want to live another 40 years, be a grandfather, see my grandkids, take them to the gym, tell them stories about when I was in the NBA." Don Cornelius was an exceptional television host and producer, best known as the creator of the iconic music and dance program Soul Train, which he hosted from 1970 to 1993. Cornelius had a profound impact on the entertainment industry, revolutionizing it by bringing black music and culture into the American mainstream. However, despite his success and contributions to music and television, Cornelius's personal life was fraught with challenges. He struggled with alcohol and substance abuse, which negatively impacted his health and career. In the final 3 decades of his life, he faced serious health problems. In 1982, he underwent a 21-hour surgery to repair a congenital blood vessel defect in his brain. Following the surgery, he suffered serious health complications, including seizures, which eventually forced him to retire and focus on his health. On February 1st, 2012, police were called to Cornelius's home in Los Angeles. He was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and died at the age of 75. His death devastated his family and fans around the world. Cornelius is remembered for his signature line with which he ended each episode of Soul Train. "I am Don Cornelius, and as always in farewell, we wish you love, peace, and soul." Meek Mill, the famous American rapper, also makes it onto this list. Meek Mill rose to fame in 2011 after appearing on a label compilation album. Although he became a prominent voice in hip-hop, his success was overshadowed by legal battles, mental health issues, and substance abuse. Meek Mill's struggle with addiction began after he was prescribed strong painkillers following wisdom teeth surgery. This marked the start of a long and painful battle with addiction and substance abuse, which also led to legal challenges for the rapper. In 2008, he was convicted of drug possession and sentenced to 11 to 23 months in prison, followed by 8 years of probation. After many years, Meek Mill sought help and recovery. Reflecting on his days as an addict, he said, "I think there should be a clear line between having this problem and being afraid to tell your probation officer because you don't want to get locked up for many years." After overcoming these struggles, Meek Mill is still remembered as one of the most influential rappers in the music industry. Ja Rule is another famous rapper who faced a battle with substance abuse. He had a highly successful career, selling millions of albums and earning millions of dollars from music and reality TV. Ja Rule revealed that he started getting involved in drug dealing at around 12 or 13 years old, as he was forced to work to help his mother through difficult times. Later, he began experimenting and quickly fell into heavy addiction. His struggle became public when he encountered high-profile legal issues, including a prison sentence in 2011 for weapons possession and tax evasion. Although Ja Rule didn't publicly reveal his specific treatment methods for addiction, his time in prison served as a wake-up call, prompting him to reflect on his life choices and future. He also focused on rebuilding his career and personal life, returning to music and getting involved in various business ventures. Furthermore, he emphasized the importance of resilience and making positive choices. Jimi Hendrix, one of the most prominent names in rock history, is celebrated as one of the most influential and talented guitarists of all time. In fact, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame describes him as possibly the greatest guitarist in the history of rock music. However, he struggled with a serious issue that ultimately led to his tragic and untimely death. It all began in 1962 when he walked into a small bar in Tennessee to drink, spending most of his savings on alcohol. After that night, alcohol gradually became an obsession in his life, leading him to violent outbursts and rare moments of aggression. He began mixing alcohol with drugs, and each time he did, his condition worsened. This had a severe impact on his career, relationships, and health. It all came to a tragic end on September 18, 1970, when he was found breathing but unresponsive. According to his girlfriend, Monica Danneman, he had taken 9 sleeping pills, 18 times the recommended dose before going to bed. He was pronounced dead later that day, and an autopsy revealed that he had died of asphyxiation from his own vomit and had died in a state of alcoholism and drug abuse. His death sent the world, especially rock fans, into mourning. Mystical, a prominent figure in Southern hip-hop, known for his high-energy performances and unique style, also made the list due to his struggles with addiction. His battle with substance abuse has been closely tied to legal and personal issues. He was arrested multiple times on charges related to drugs, including drug possession and probation violations. Mystical served several prison sentences, including a 6-year term. Although he did not plead guilty to drug possession, it was clear that his repeated arrests were connected to his ongoing struggles with addiction and substance abuse issues. Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, made profound contributions to jazz and pop music, but her life is also a tragic example of the devastating effects of addiction. She struggled with severe alcoholism and drug abuse, and in early 1959 she was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver due to excessive drinking. Despite several attempts to quit, she relapsed repeatedly, ultimately leading to her untimely death. In 1959, Billie Holiday was hospitalized due to heart failure and kidney problems. While in her hospital bed, the New York police arrested her for heroin possession found in her room. She passed away in the hospital a few days later, while still in police custody for drug possession at the age of 44. Charlie Wilson, also known as Uncle Charlie, rose to fame in the 1970s and 1980s with hits like Outstanding, You Dropped a Bomb on Me, and Burn Rubber on Me. However, after reaching remarkable heights in the entertainment industry, Wilson faced a period of struggle with alcohol and drug addiction, leading him to live on the streets of Hollywood Boulevard from 1993 to 1995. The good news is that he sought help, overcame this dark chapter in his life, and has remained sober ever since. Wilson has been honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Reflecting on his journey, he shared, "Today, I stand before you as a man who has been sober for 29 years, not relapsing day by day, 29 years, 7 days a week." Sean Combs, also known as Diddy or Puff Daddy, has a story that highlights the devastating impact addiction can have on both a career and personal life. Once one of the greatest stars in hip-hop, Diddy reached the peak of his career, influencing the music industry profoundly and creating extravagant parties and events. However, the addiction struggles he faced over the years have transformed him from an icon into a cautionary tale. Despite his immense success, the challenges he dealt with in terms of substance abuse affected his personal relationships and professional reputation. Recent revelations about Diddy's life show that he has not only struggled with self-control, but also fallen into poor decision-making, leading to scandals and illicit parties. Addiction has affected not only his physical and mental health, but also led to numerous lawsuits. Now Diddy faces the potential of prison time, with the possibility of a lengthy sentence ranging from 15 years to life if convicted. This has caused both his fans and the music industry to pause and reflect on the destructive impact of addiction on talented and promising individuals. As a human being in modern society, we should stay away from and ignore things that are harmful to ourselves and society, such as drugs and illegal substances. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel. When we think of stars, we often imagine luxury, talent, and success. But behind the glitz and glamour, even the brightest stars face dark struggles in their lives. Addiction knows no bounds, and for many African American celebrities, alcohol has become a silent battle. In this video, we will explore the stories of 20 African American stars who have struggled with alcoholism, a battle that has significantly impacted their lives, careers, and health. Richard Pryor's life was like a roller coaster full of laughter and pain, light and darkness. As one of the revolutionary comedians of his time, Pryor broke boundaries and challenged the strict norms of the entertainment industry with his sharp and sometimes shocking humor. His stories not only brought laughter but also reflected his own life, made up of struggles and personal victories. However, behind that witty brilliance was a man carrying deep personal battles, especially with alcohol, which at times overshadowed his greatness. Pryor's childhood was filled with hardships as he grew up in a tough neighborhood in Illinois, facing situations no child should have to endure. These early experiences may have contributed to his later battles with addiction, especially as he dealt with the pressures of fame. Alcohol became a coping mechanism, a crutch that helped him get through, but ultimately was the very thing that destroyed him. Despite multiple attempts to quit, the struggle with addiction continued to haunt him. Pryor passed away in 2005, leaving behind a remarkable legacy, but also many emotional scars. Few stars had a life as unique and complex as Michael Jackson. Known globally as the King of Pop, Michael's influence on music and dance was unparalleled. From the early days of his solo career, Michael was a true star. However, behind his dazzling success were insecurities and personal pain, things he tried to numb with alcohol and other substances, which ultimately overshadowed his life and legacy. Jackson's relationship with alcohol was one of many ways he tried to cope with the pressures of fame and his inner turmoil. As his fame grew, he faced an unrelenting wave of criticism and scrutiny, with no amount of celebrity light able to ease his pain. These pressures gradually took their toll, pushing him into habits that only deepened his struggles. Alcohol was not the only substance he battled, but it was part of a web of issues that made it difficult for him to control his life. His death in 2009 shocked the world, closing a life that was both inspirational and tragic. While he is remembered for his extraordinary artistic talent, Jackson's life off stage was far from a smooth journey. His greatness on stage was mirrored by a complex, haunting reality, leaving fans with a bittersweet memory of someone who gave everything to his art but paid an incredibly high price. Billie Holiday had a voice unlike any other, with a life story just as unforgettable. Famous for her emotionally charged, haunting vocals, Holiday had the ability to convey raw emotion in every melody, creating songs that were both beautiful and heartbreaking. Her success in jazz and blues was groundbreaking, especially during a time of intense racial tension. However, her voice could not protect her from the battles she faced off stage, including a painful struggle with alcohol addiction, which plagued much of her career. Growing up in poverty, Billie Holiday's childhood experiences shaped her music and led her down a challenging path. Alcohol became her companion, a way to numb the pain she had endured since her youth. As her fame grew, so did her dependency on alcohol, which began to affect her performances and relationships. Her struggle was not only a personal issue but became a public story as people watched her try to balance her extraordinary talent with an addiction that seemed insurmountable. Holiday passed away in 1959, leaving a musical legacy that still resonates today. Her life, filled with highs and challenges, was clearly reflected in the notes she sang. Her story, as emotional as the songs she performed, serves as a reminder of the fragile line between greatness and suffering, and how even the brightest stars can be overshadowed by personal battles. Tracy Morgan's story is a testament to resilience, humor, and deep personal challenges. Famous for his unforgettable roles in Saturday Night Live and 30 Rock, Morgan's comedic style is unique, bold, and often deeply personal. However, behind the laughter and his larger-than-life persona, Morgan faced struggles that few knew about, including a history of alcohol addiction that threatened to take him down a darker path. Morgan's childhood in Brooklyn, New York was tough, and alcohol became a means for him to cope with life. This habit followed him into adulthood, and as he gained fame, his dependence on alcohol grew, affecting his work and personal relationships. Although he tried to keep this struggle private, it remained a constant challenge for those close to him. Despite this, Morgan's spirit remained strong, and he has openly shared the difficulties he faced. Today, Morgan continues his entertainment career with a renewed perspective, having overcome his battle with alcohol. Every laugh he brings to the stage is now a victory, a reminder of the strength to overcome challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Cat Williams, both unpredictable and talented, is known for his sharp, bold, and sometimes controversial humor. Williams won over audiences with his direct and powerful approach to comedy. His career has seen notable highs and lows, many of which have been tied to his struggles with alcohol and the challenges it brought. Despite his success, alcohol remained an adversary for Williams, threatening to disrupt both his career and personal life. One of the most memorable moments in Cat Williams' career occurred during a public meltdown at a live performance, where he showcased the internal struggle of his battle with alcohol. The audience came to witness a comedic genius, but what they saw was something entirely different. Williams appeared clearly intoxicated, slurring his words and exhibiting unstable energy. Instead of performing as usual, he began speaking incoherently, pacing around the stage and occasionally shouting at the crowd. Some reports even mentioned that he was crying, reflecting the personal and professional toll that addiction had taken on him. This incident served as a sobering reminder of the destructive nature of addiction, even for someone as resilient and successful as Williams. The public breakdown shocked, disappointed, and worried fans and colleagues, showing that his struggle with alcohol was beginning to impact his career. After the incident, there was a wave of support and calls for him to seek help. Today, Williams remains a major figure in comedy, though his journey is marked by scars. His ongoing battle with alcohol is part of his story, but his determination to keep moving forward is equally significant. Rodman's life has been a colorful journey, filled with contradictions. While his moments off the court turned him into an icon of rebellion and a thirst for freedom, it was these personal struggles that somewhat overshadowed the monumental achievements he accomplished in his basketball career. The combination of talent, defiance, and personal crises has created a complex image that few can forget. Despite undergoing multiple rehab stints and striving to overcome loneliness, Rodman's obsession with alcohol remains a part of his life. However, Dennis Rodman is a living testament that greatness often comes not only from achievements, but also from the battle within oneself. To those who love basketball, he remains an undeniable legend, even though his life has been filled with unpredictable twists and turns. DMX, who passed away, was a name and a voice that shaped the rap genre for many, bringing raw, unfiltered energy to his music that resonated with audiences worldwide. Known for his signature growl and emotionally charged lyrics, DMX rose to prominence in the 1990s with hits that told stories of struggle, survival, and resilience. However, behind his music was a man battling his own demons, including a lifelong struggle with addiction, with alcohol being one of the factors complicating his journey, leaving behind a trail of challenges. DMX's life was often marred by public incidents, reflecting the inner demons he struggled with. In interviews, he openly admitted that alcohol addiction had been a part of his life since childhood, tied to the difficult experiences he faced growing up. His fame only intensified his battle with alcohol, turning it into both a crutch and a curse. DMX once shared in an interview that he drank excessively to cope with the pressures of his career, frequently getting into trouble with the law while under the influence. In 2021, DMX passed away from complications related to a heart attack, leaving fans heartbroken. His legacy, both in music and as a public figure unafraid to face his personal struggles, remains powerful. While his music reflected strength and resilience, his life outside the stage revealed a man haunted by battles, trying to overcome the darkness that addiction had cast upon his life. Bobby Brown's career in music and entertainment is legendary. From his time as a member of the iconic R&B group New Edition to his solo success, playing a pivotal role in shaping the sound of a generation. However, behind his talent and stage presence, his life was haunted by personal demons, with alcohol being a significant obstacle. The combination of fame, personal tragedy, and alcohol addiction left a deep mark on both his life and career. His high-profile marriage to Whitney Houston and the alcohol-related troubles that followed made him a media focal point. Brown admitted that alcohol played a significant role in the public arguments and legal issues he faced. Despite several attempts to overcome addiction and rebuild his life, his story remains a series of ups and downs. Even though he faced numerous setbacks, Brown continued to perform and share his music, becoming a symbol of resilience, a man who endured many struggles but never gave up on his passion or his life. Diana Ross, a glamorous icon with a powerful voice and commanding presence, seemed to lead a life filled with beauty and success. From her early days with the Supremes to her solo career that cemented her place in music history, Diana Ross left an indelible mark. However, few know that behind the stage lights and sparkling costumes, Ross struggled with personal battles, including her fight against alcohol addiction. Ross's drinking habits often caused concern among her family, especially as it began to impact her career and public appearances. One of the most notable incidents occurred in 2002 when she was arrested for driving under the influence, an event that brought her struggle with alcohol into the public eye. Ross was reported to have shown defiance toward the police, highlighting how deeply her dependency on alcohol had ingrained itself into her life. Friends and family expressed their worries, but she continued to battle her addiction while maintaining her career. Despite her difficult battle with alcohol, Ross's influence on music and culture remains unchanged. She continued to perform and inspire fans, with her voice and presence as dazzling as ever. Her struggle with alcohol serves as a reminder of the challenges even the brightest stars face. But her resilience shines through, reflecting the strength she used to rise above her personal battles and continue thriving in her career. R. Kelly's life is a blend of remarkable musical talent and ongoing personal controversies. In the 1990s, he became a powerful voice in R&B with his chart-topping hits. However, his career was severely impacted by lawsuits, legal issues, and addiction, particularly to alcohol, which led to erratic behavior and poor decision-making. Alcohol frequently appeared in controversial moments, exacerbating the downfall in his life and career. Despite his moments of triumph on stage, Kelly's life off-stage has been riddled with personal issues. In recent years, his career has almost been erased by ongoing legal battles, overshadowing his musical legacy. The man who once sang about love and passion now faces a future defined by his own actions, much of which can be attributed to his dependence on alcohol. Fantasia Barrino's story is a journey that seemed destined for greatness, but behind her powerful voice and inspiring talent are the heavy struggles she had to endure. The world first witnessed Fantasia's potential through American Idol, where she won the hearts of many with her soulful voice and undeniable talent. However, success came with its own pressures, sometimes overwhelming, and alcohol became a part of her journey as she tried to cope with fame and the harsh realities of the music industry. Fantasia's relationship with alcohol was not something that developed overnight. As she rose to fame, she faced financial troubles, the pressure of being a single mother, and depression, which led her to use alcohol as a way to temporarily numb the pain. Fantasia has admitted that during her darkest times, alcohol became a way to dull her sorrow, but it also left her feeling even more isolated. Despite these challenges, including her battle with alcohol, she has overcome adversity and become an inspiration to many through her music and her story of strength in the face of hardship. Casey Haley made a lasting impact on music with his soulful hits in the 90s, but behind that powerful voice was a man struggling with personal difficulties, including alcohol. The pressures of fame and personal issues led him to rely on alcohol, which took a toll on both his health and career. Despite this, Casey has shared that he turned to alcohol to cope with emotional pain, yet he continues to strive to rebuild his life. Though he faced many challenges, his voice and influence in R&B remain undeniable, a testament to his resilient strength. Suge Knight was once one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, playing a significant role in the rise of hip-hop during its golden years. As the head of Death Row Records, Suge Knight helped elevate West Coast rap to new heights, collaborating with legends like Tupac Shakur and Dr. Dre. However, behind his powerful image and business success, Suge struggled with personal issues, particularly self-destructive behavior. Suge Knight's issues with alcohol surfaced multiple times, often linked to controversies and legal problems throughout his career. Knight was known for his aggressive style and high-profile conflicts, and alcohol only amplified the tension, leading to violent incidents and arrests. He became infamous for situations where his judgment was influenced by alcohol, resulting in public confrontations and altercations that further highlighted his notorious reputation. Today, Knight's legacy is not only marked by his contributions to music, but also by a turbulent life filled with legal troubles and a series of challenges that have pursued him throughout his life. Suge's story reflects the complex balance between ambition and the personal demons that have taken a toll on his career and health. Alcohol is just one of the factors that contributed to his downfall. Mike Tyson, one of the most fearsome boxers in history, has lived a life full of triumphs and tragedies. While his strength and skills created a legend, his battles with alcohol and personal issues overshadowed his career. Alcohol became a factor contributing to his erratic behavior, most notably in the infamous ear-biting incident with Evander Holyfield. Tyson has admitted that alcohol sometimes helped numb the pain from past injuries, but it also led him down a path of self-destruction. However, over the years, Tyson has made a concerted effort to turn his life around and has openly shared his journey of recovery. His honesty has touched the hearts of fans, not only because of his powerful legacy in boxing, but also due to his resilient strength in facing personal battles. Nate Dogg, who has passed away, was a defining voice in West Coast rap, bringing a smooth, soulful sound that left a lasting impact on hip-hop. Nate was famous for his collaborations with Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Warren G, and his contributions to music were incredibly significant. However, his life was marked by struggles that fans didn't always see, including a long battle with alcohol, a problem that followed him throughout his career and affected his health. Nate Dogg's struggles with alcohol became more apparent as his career progressed. Close friends revealed that his drinking sometimes spiraled out of control, and his dependency on alcohol had a severe impact on his health. He faced a series of health issues, which ultimately led to his passing in 2011. In interviews, those close to Nate shared that his alcohol consumption was sometimes a way for him to cope with the pressures of fame and the hardships he had endured since childhood. Despite the challenges in his life, Nate Dogg's legacy remains strong, with fans and fellow artists continuing to celebrate his contributions to hip-hop. His voice is still an essential part of the genre, a reminder of the talent and warmth he brought to the music world, even as he struggled with his inner battles. Jamie Foxx, a multi-talented artist with a remarkable career in film, comedy, and music, has captivated audiences with his undeniable talent. He won an Oscar for his portrayal of Ray Charles and became a role model in the entertainment industry. However, behind his success, Foxx has faced a personal battle with alcohol, an issue he rarely discusses publicly, but that has had clear signs in his life and career. Foxx's relationship with alcohol began in social settings, but gradually it started to affect his life and work. Despite his efforts to keep this struggle private, his drinking habits occasionally became a public topic of concern. In interviews, Foxx admitted that alcohol was his way of coping with the immense pressures of his career. However, he continued to produce memorable work, and his silent battle serves as a reminder that even under the bright lights, everyone faces their own challenges. Snoop Dogg, one of the biggest icons in hip-hop, built his reputation with a laid-back style, catchy lyrics, and a unique personality. Known for his love of cannabis, Snoop's relationship with alcohol has often gone unnoticed, but it has been a part of his life for many years. While relatively discreet, it has had a significant impact. Beneath his easygoing exterior, Snoop has faced moments where alcohol became more than just an accessory at parties, leading to struggles that challenged both his career and personal life. Snoop's drinking habits became more noticeable during the early years of his career when he reached the peak of his fame in the 90s. In interviews, he shared that his stardom came with a lifestyle filled with parties, pressure, and at times, excessive drinking. Friends from this era recall that Snoop's lifestyle wasn't just about his famous cannabis use. Alcohol also became a part of his life, whether for celebrating or during stressful moments. Despite facing these challenges, Snoop Dogg has shown remarkable resilience in balancing his music career, acting, and even business ventures. Ray Charles, who revolutionized soul, blues, and jazz with his unique sound, is known for iconic hits like Hit the Road Jack and Georgia on My Mind. His music touched the hearts of fans worldwide, but behind his legendary voice and incredible talent, Ray Charles faced more challenges than just fame. He struggled with addiction to both stimulants and alcohol. His battle with addiction began in his youth, initially with other substances, but alcohol eventually became his escape from the pressures of fame and the personal traumas he carried. In his autobiography, Ray Charles describes how alcohol became an integral part of his life, frequently affecting his health and leading to complicated moments in his career. Friends and collaborators noticed that while Ray was deeply dedicated to music, his dependence on alcohol sometimes blurred his focus, creating tension in the studio and during tours. Despite these struggles, Ray Charles continued to produce groundbreaking music and left an indelible legacy. His journey with alcohol was one of the challenges he had to overcome, revealing a vulnerable layer beneath the genius behind the piano. Azealia Banks, known for her unique voice and bold style, has made a significant impact in the music industry while also sparking intense controversy with her social media feuds. However, behind her sharp words, she has struggled with personal issues, particularly her complex relationship with alcohol, which has sometimes affected her career. Banks' use of alcohol has often been linked to controversial moments, raising questions about its role in her actions and decision-making. Despite these challenges, her musical talent and unapologetic persona continue to resonate with many, but her struggles with alcohol remain a part of her public narrative. Azealia Banks has admitted in interviews that alcohol can intensify her emotions, causing her reactions to become stronger and harder to control. While her talent is undeniable, her reliance on alcohol has made her a difficult figure to work with for many. Despite this, Banks continues to develop her career, maintaining a divisive public image, with her complex relationship with alcohol being an inseparable part of her journey. Redman, known for his rap skills, humor, and unique style, made a significant impact with his hits in the 90s, earning a loyal fan base who appreciated his creativity. While Redman was celebrated for his music and personality, his life also involved struggles with alcohol, a challenge he faced with honesty and resilience. In interviews, Redman has spoken about the role alcohol played in his life, particularly during the peak of his career. He admitted that alcohol became a way to cope with the stress of the music industry, though he made efforts to control it and not let it dominate his life. Today, Redman remains a positive figure in the music scene, respected and adored by fans and fellow artists alike. His journey with alcohol, though not always in the spotlight, is a testament to his ability to face challenges head-on. He has maintained his career and unique style, showcasing the determination that his fans continue to admire. If you enjoyed this article, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to follow more fascinating stories about the lives of your favorite celebrities. This article also shares heartfelt stories about African American stars who have struggled with alcohol addiction, which has severely impacted their lives, careers, and health. Despite these personal challenges, their resilience and strength in overcoming adversity continue to inspire future generations. How many Black celebrities have silently battled drug addiction while maintaining their perfect public image? While their careers shined brightly, the challenges they faced with addiction were far more complex and painful than what the audience ever saw. Leave a comment with the number 1 in this video, and we will explore the stories of Black celebrities who have had to overcome harsh battles with addiction. Rick James was a legendary musician in the funk and R&B genres with hit songs like Super Freak and Give It To Me Baby. His music was full of energy, and his life was just as vibrant, but his personal life was filled with chaos, much of it caused by drug addiction. Rick James openly admitted to a severe cocaine addiction that spanned many years, which led to erratic behavior, including several run-ins with the law. There was a time when his drug addiction became so severe that it destroyed his music career and tarnished his reputation. James was known for his wild lifestyle, but even his closest friends admitted that drugs had taken him to a very dangerous place. He was arrested multiple times for various offenses, including kidnapping and assault, all while under the influence of drugs. His addiction was so severe that he admitted to spending $7,000 a week on cocaine. Despite having fame and fortune, Rick James couldn't control his life, and drugs only made everything worse. It wasn't until later in life that he attempted to change, but the damage to his body and career had already been done. Richard Pryor is one of the most groundbreaking comedians of all time, transforming comedy with his candid, unflinching accounts of life, race, and society. However, Pryor's career was also deeply affected by drug addiction. He struggled with cocaine throughout his career, which often spilled into the public eye. One of the most shocking moments came in 1980, when he set himself on fire while using cocaine, an event that nearly took his life. It was a wake-up call for many fans who had witnessed the devastation that drugs had wreaked on his life. Pryor's drug addiction was no secret, as he spoke about it in his comedy routines, often highlighting the dark moments of his life. Despite multiple attempts to get clean, drugs continued to affect his relationships, career, and health. In his later years, Pryor faced serious health problems, including multiple sclerosis, but his past drug abuse certainly contributed to his declining health. Michael K. Williams, best known for his role as Omar Little in The Wire, was also an incredibly talented actor, but his life was deeply impacted by drug addiction. Williams struggled with substance abuse throughout his life, despite achieving great success in Hollywood. His addiction to cocaine and heroin began when he was a young man living in Brooklyn and continued to haunt him even after he became a star. Williams was always open about his struggles, admitting that he used drugs to escape the pain and trauma he experienced growing up. Even when his acting career was at its peak, Williams often found himself falling back into old habits. His addiction became so severe that it nearly cost him his role in The Wire. However, Williams made efforts to confront his demons by entering rehab and speaking openly about his struggles. Unfortunately, his battle with drugs ended in tragedy when he passed away from an overdose in 2021. Eddie Griffin is a comedian and actor known for his sharp wit and comedic performances in movies like Undercover Brother and Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. However, Griffin's career was also affected by his struggles with addiction. He has openly admitted to his battles with alcohol and drugs in the past, revealing that he used substances to cope with the pressures of fame. Like many stars, he turned to drugs to deal with the highs and lows of Hollywood life. Griffin's addiction led to chaotic situations in his career, but he worked hard to turn his life around. In interviews, Griffin has talked about how difficult it was to break free from the cycle of addiction. He sought help and tried to focus on his career in comedy and acting, using laughter as a way to cope with his past. Although addiction caused many problems in his life, Griffin's story also shows that recovery is possible. He continues to work in the entertainment industry, and while the struggles of his past may still haunt him, he seems determined to stay on the right path. Marvin Gaye, the man behind timeless hits like What's Going On and Sexual Healing, possessed a powerful voice that touched the hearts of millions. However, behind the smooth melodies and emotional lyrics, Gaye faced a silent battle with drug addiction. His struggle with cocaine became more evident in the later stages of his career, especially as he dealt with financial troubles and personal issues. Gaye's drug use increased in the 1980s, severely affecting his mental health, relationships, and even his music. He became reclusive during dark times, trying to balance his career while fighting his inner demons. Despite his efforts to overcome addiction, it remained an ongoing struggle, making life difficult both on and off the stage. Sadly, Gaye's life ended tragically in 1984 when he was shot by his own father during a heated argument. Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, was a jazz legend with a voice that could melt even the coldest of hearts. Her songs, like Strange Fruit and God Bless the Child, are timeless classics that still resonate today. However, Billie's life was not as smooth as her music. Behind the scenes, She struggled with a heroin addiction that began in the 1940s and lasted for much of her life. Her drug use led to legal troubles, causing her to serve time in prison for her addiction. Holiday's battle with drugs was widely known in the jazz world and had a significant impact on her career. Despite the difficulties in her life, Billie continued to perform, sometimes appearing on stage while under the influence of drugs. Her addiction weakened her health, and her personal relationships were also affected. She fought hard to maintain her career, but drugs often overshadowed her success. Holiday's life tragically ended in 1959, but her music remains a lasting testament to her incredible talent. Charlie Wilson, lead singer of the Gap Band, is best known for his upbeat funk and hits such as Outstanding and You Dropped a Bomb on Me. However, there was a time when Wilson struggled with serious drug and alcohol addiction, which almost ended his career. At the height of his career in the 1980s, Wilson became addicted to cocaine and alcohol. His addiction got so bad that he was homeless for a time, sleeping rough and struggling to survive. It was a painful fall from grace for someone who had achieved so much in the music industry. Wilson eventually sought help and entered rehab, determined to turn his life around. He became clean and became an advocate for others battling addiction. His journey is a story of redemption and perseverance, proving that it is never too late to change. Today, Wilson continues to perform and inspire others with his story of recovery, showing that even when things are at their darkest, there is always hope for a better future. Pimp C. As one half of the legendary rap duo UGK, Pimp C was a major figure in Southern rap, known for hits like International Player's Anthem and Big Pimpin' with Jay-Z. Behind the scenes, however, Pimp C battled a severe addiction to lean, a mix of codeine, promethazine, and soda popular in the hip-hop community. This addiction ultimately contributed to his untimely death. His use of lean took a toll on Pimp C's health, and he frequently ran into legal trouble due to his addiction. Despite this, Pimp C continued to write and perform, but the effects of his addiction became apparent in 2007, when he died at the age of 33 from an overdose of prescription cough suppressants. Pimp C's death was a wake-up call to the dangers of lean and addiction in the music industry. First on the list is the heartbreaking story of DMX, whose real name was Earl Simmons. DMX was a music legend, known for his unique voice and powerful lyrics. While his career was soaring with hits like Party Up and Rough Riders Anthem, behind the fame, DMX battled with drug addiction from a very young age. He opened up about being introduced to cocaine at the age of 14. This addiction haunted him for many years, leading to multiple arrests and stints in rehab. Despite his efforts to maintain his career, addiction caused him to spiral, raising concerns among the public. DMX's addiction severely impacted his health and personal life, leaving a lasting mark on his legacy. His life became a continuous cycle of getting clean and falling back into old habits. It was a tough battle that attracted attention and made fans worldwide concerned. He once shared in an interview that he wanted to stop, but it was difficult to escape the grip of addiction. Despite facing countless challenges, DMX continued to work on his music and faith, but addiction played a key role in his downfall. Nate Dogg, known for his smooth hooks in 90s and early 2000s rap hits like Regulate with Warren G and songs with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, struggled with addiction to alcohol and other substances throughout his life. Nate Dogg's addictions became more apparent as his health began to decline. In the mid-2000s, he suffered multiple strokes, leaving him unable to perform and in poor health. Sadly, Nate Dogg passed away in 2011 at the age of 41. Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan, beloved for his comedic roles in movies and TV shows, has had a long-standing battle with alcoholism. This addiction has led to serious incidents, including several near-fatal car accidents. After a major accident in 2014 that left him seriously injured, Morgan committed to changing his life, becoming sober, and focusing on his physical and mental health. Redman, a rapper known for songs like Time for Some Action and D-Rock Welder, has always been open about his love of marijuana. However, there was a period in his career when he relied heavily on the drug to cope with the pressures of fame and the fast-paced life in Hollywood. Although marijuana is generally considered a mild drug, Redman has admitted that it significantly affected his behavior and mood during that time. Over the years, Redman has spoken about how he learned to balance his love of marijuana with a healthier lifestyle, understanding the difference between use and abuse. He has also become an advocate for the legalization of marijuana, but encourages people to use it responsibly. While Redman's addiction was not as severe as that of other celebrities, his story shows that even mild drugs can have an impact if not used properly. Charlie Parker, a jazz legend and saxophonist, left a lasting mark on the music world. However, behind the soaring saxophone melodies was a struggle with heroin and alcohol addiction. Parker's addiction to heroin and alcohol was well known, and it often disrupted his personal and professional life. The pressure of fame combined with the ghosts in his mind pushed him into addiction. Despite this, Parker continued to perform and compose music, changing the course of jazz forever. However, his addiction took a serious toll on his health, leading to multiple stints in rehab facilities and periods of career stagnation. Even at the height of his musical career, addiction cast a shadow over his life. Sadly, Parker died in 1955 at the age of 34, leaving behind a legacy that was both brilliant and tragic. Chaka Khan, the queen of funk with hits like Ain't Nobody and I'm Every Woman, is known for her powerful vocals and charismatic stage presence. However, even the legendary diva couldn't escape the lure of addiction. Throughout the 1980s, Chaka struggled with alcohol and drug addiction, especially cocaine. However, Chaka didn't let her addiction define her life. She sought help and committed to sobriety. Over the years, Chaka has been candid about her recovery journey, using her platform to raise awareness about addiction and inspire others to seek help. Her story is an example of resilience, showing that even in difficult times, we can still thrive. Mystikal, a rapper known for hits like Shake Ya Ass and Danger, brought a powerful energy to the music scene in the late 1990s and early 2000s. With his distinctive voice and fast-paced rapping style, Mystikal quickly became a household name. However, fame brought its own challenges, and Mystikal struggled with addiction. His addictions became part of a series of legal troubles, including multiple stints in prison. Despite the ups and downs in his personal and professional life, Mystikal has struggled to come back, opening up about his past mistakes, including how addiction led to some dark times in his life. Although his journey has not been easy, Mystikal continues to move forward, showing that the battle against addiction is a constant one. KCI, one half of the R&B duo Key and JoJo, is known for his soulful vocals and passionate performances on hits like All My Life and Tell Me It's Real. Along with his brother JoJo, KCI dominated the R&B charts in the 90s. However, behind the smooth melodies and heartfelt lyrics was a serious struggle with addiction. KCI battled alcoholism for years, and his addiction became public when it began to affect his performances. The alcoholism caused tension within the group and contributed to the duo's difficulty maintaining their previous success. However, both KCI and JoJo realized the need to stay sober and take control of their lives. KCI has been actively working toward recovery, and the duo has gone on several comeback tours, much to the delight of their fans. D'Angelo, who captivated audiences with his talent and charm in the late 90s, was an R&B heartthrob. However, while fans viewed him as an R&B heartthrob, D'Angelo was dealing with his own inner demons. His addiction to alcohol and drugs began to escalate after the success of his album Voodoo. D'Angelo withdrew from music for a long time, and his addiction played a major role in his absence. For years, he lived out of the public eye, battling his addiction and focusing on recovery. His appearance changed dramatically during that time, and many fans were concerned about his health. However, in 2014, D'Angelo made a strong comeback with the album Black Messiah, proving that while his addiction may have slowed him down, it couldn't stop him from creating powerful and meaningful music. One of the most unique and unpredictable members of the Wu-Tang Clan, ODB stood out for his raw energy and wild personality. However, beneath that rebellious exterior was a relentless battle with addiction that followed him throughout his life. The fame that came with ODB's success only made his problems worse as drugs took over his life. Addiction and legal problems overshadowed ODB's talent, leading him to face arrest on multiple occasions for drug possession. His untimely death in 2004 at the age of 35 was a sad end to a life filled with potential but marred by addiction. While he left behind a rich musical legacy, it's hard not to feel weighed down by what might have been had he been able to escape the grip of drugs. His story is one of brilliance and heartbreak, one ended too soon by a battle he couldn't win. Scottie Pippen, the basketball legend who helped the Chicago Bulls win 6 NBA championships, is known for his incredible skills on the court, but it is less well known that Pippen also had personal struggles that affected his life off the court. While not as publicly discussed as others, there have been rumors that his addiction issues contributed to some of the struggles he faced in his personal life. Although Pippen's public image was always that of a calm and focused player, addiction touched parts of his life that fans rarely saw. Like many athletes, the pressure to perform at a high level came with its own struggles, and there were occasional rumors that he struggled with addiction. Pippen's family life, including the tragic loss of his son, also added to the emotional burden he carried. While still an icon in basketball, there is a quiet sadness in knowing that even great champions like Pippen are not immune to the challenges life brings. It may come as a surprise to many to learn that Samuel L. Jackson, one of the most successful actors in Hollywood, struggled with addiction before becoming the face we know today through films like Pulp Fiction and The Avengers. Jackson had a dark period in his life, where cocaine and alcohol dominated his life in the 1980s. Jackson's addiction nearly disrupted his career and personal life. He has spoken publicly about how his addiction consumed him, leading to moments of despair and self-destruction. Jackson's turning point came when he realized that he could lose everything if he didn't seek help. His family, especially his wife LaTanya, played a major role in his recovery. Jackson went to rehab and turned his life around, rebuilding his career and becoming one of the most beloved actors of his generation. Paul Mooney, a comedian and screenwriter known for his sharp wit and working closely with Richard Pryor, brought humor to some of society's toughest issues. However, behind the tough exterior was a man who faced his own personal battles with addiction. Mooney struggled with drugs throughout his career, and many believe it was a result of the pressures of the entertainment industry and the difficult topics he tackled. A close friend and collaborator of Richard Pryor, Mooney was no stranger to the world of addiction. While not as publicly discussed as Pryor's problems, Mooney's own struggles affected his life in profound yet private ways. Mooney passed away in 2021, leaving behind a legacy of great comedic music, but also a reminder of the personal impact that fame and the pressure to face the truth can have. Nate Robinson, who wowed the world with his impressive performances on the court, has had his own personal struggles in his post-NBA life, including a battle with addiction that came to light after his career ended. Robinson has faced many challenges adjusting to life outside of professional sports, and addiction has been one of the toughest battles. The pressure of maintaining a stellar career, transitioning to life after the NBA, and personal struggles have all contributed to his struggles with drugs. Although he has tried to keep his personal life private, Nate Robinson's story continues, and fans hope he can find peace and overcome the challenges he has faced in his post-basketball life. Lauryn Hill, a Grammy Award-winning artist with the album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, has struggled with fame and addiction. Although she was at the height of her career in the late 1990s, her life changed dramatically when she began to withdraw from the public eye, partly due to her struggles with drugs and the pressures of celebrity. Her addiction to marijuana and other substances led to erratic behavior and halted her music career. Despite this, Lauryn Hill remains a respected figure in the music industry and has worked to get her life and career back on track in recent years. Don Cornelius, founder and host of Soul Train, was a pioneer in bringing African-American culture into the mainstream. However, Cornelius's later years were marked by health problems, depression, and painkiller addiction. His addiction began after several surgeries, and the painkillers he used to manage the pain became a dependency. The addiction affected his mood and mental health, and in 2012, Don Cornelius took his own life. If you're inspired by these stories and want to hear more, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Stay with us for exciting new content, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support keeps us going in sharing these meaningful stories. Hello, everyone. Did you know that some of the most talented Black stars have faced alcohol addiction in a way that ultimately impacted their lives and careers? From groundbreaking musician Bobby Womack to comedic genius Red Fox? Leave a comment with the number 1. And below are some Black stars who drank themselves to death. Richard Pryor was not just a comedian, but also a trailblazer. With his sharp wit and raw humor, he tackled taboo topics like race, relationships, and personal flaws. His comedy undoubtedly revolutionized the entertainment industry, making Richard Pryor an unforgettable legend in the world of comedy. His fame came not only from stand-up performances, iconic films like Silver Streak, and brilliant storytelling, but also from making millions laugh and reflect on society. However, behind all the humor that made the world laugh was a life far from joyful. He battled addiction, primarily alcohol, for much of his life. Alcohol was not just a coping mechanism for Pryor, but was also tied to the painful experiences of his childhood, growing up in a brothel and witnessing much trauma. Pryor turned to alcohol and other substances to cope, and although he went through several stints of rehab and treatment, his health was severely affected. Struggling with alcohol and other health issues marked the later years of his life. Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, had an incredibly unique voice. Her jazz and blues songs were not just tunes, but emotional stories. Tracks like Strange Fruit, a haunting ballad, showcased her ability to make pain beautiful, and God Bless the Child illustrated that talent, earning Billie her place among the greatest singers of all time and influencing many generations of artists. But behind the emotional voice and glamorous performance persona was a life filled with hardships. Holiday's early years were filled with poverty and abuse, and as she rose to fame, she faced brutal discrimination. Her career, combined with the wounds from her past, led her to turn to alcohol and other substances. Holiday's drinking gradually became a public part of her life. What started as a social habit turned into a way for her to cope with the immense pain she carried. Over time, her alcohol use took a toll on her health and career, and her body began to deteriorate. When she passed away at the age of 44, it was a life taken far too soon. When you think of Whitney Houston, you immediately think of an extraordinary voice, known as the Voice. She had the ability to hit high notes that gave listeners chills and brought them to tears. She was one of the greatest global artists, with hits like I Will Always Love You, Greatest Love of All, and I Want to Dance with Somebody. Her success wasn't just in music, but also in films like The Bodyguard and even modeling. However, as her fame grew, so did the pressures. Whitney's life wasn't always as glamorous as it appeared on the outside. She also faced personal battles, including addiction. While alcohol wasn't the primary factor in her struggles, it played a role in her tragic end. Whitney was found unresponsive in a bathtub at a hotel in February 2012. Subsequent reports revealed that alcohol was one of the substances found in her system. The world was shocked by the news, and people wondered how someone as talented and beloved as she was could end her life in such a way. You may not hear the name Donny Hathaway as frequently as some other artists, but for those who love soul music, he is a legend. Donny Hathaway had a deep, soulful voice, with songs like A Song for You, This Christmas, and duets with Roberta Flack such as Where Is the Love? His music carried a powerful emotional strength, touching the hearts of listeners. Despite his extraordinary talent, Donny Hathaway faced many challenges, particularly with mental health issues. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and had to deal with struggles that, at the time, few understood. Along with his battles with substance abuse, including alcohol, Donny struggled significantly. Alcohol became a way for him to cope with the pressures of life and the strain of his illness. Unfortunately, on January 13, 1979, Hathaway tragically passed away after falling from a hotel window. However, it was his depression and mental illness that were the main causes. His struggles with alcohol and addiction may have contributed to his untimely end. Donny Hathaway's passing shocked the music world. At just 33 years old, he left us too soon, leaving behind a timeless musical legacy that continues to touch the hearts of listeners to this day. Sammy Davis Jr. was a multi-talented artist, a singer, dancer, actor, and comedian who lit up every stage he stepped on. He was also an important member of the legendary Rat Pack, alongside Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, becoming one of the most famous entertainment stars in America during the 1950s and 1960s. His charm, talent, and ability to break racial barriers made him an icon. Songs like The Candyman and I've Got to Be Me showcased his exceptional singing talent, while his roles in films like Ocean's 11 cemented his status as a star. However, behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry, Sammy Davis Jr. also faced many struggles, including racism, long working hours, and personal issues. To cope with the pressures of his work, Sammy became an alcoholic. Over time, his drinking severely impacted his health. He struggled to find balance in his life due to his busy lifestyle filled with constant performances and the demands of fame. While Sammy's battle with alcohol was not intense enough to overshadow his successful career, it still affected his health. He passed away from throat cancer in 1990, but his addiction and its role in his illness were part of his life story. Florence Ballard was a powerful voice in the studio and one of the original three members of the Supremes, the iconic Motown group of the 1960s, known for hits like Baby Love, Stop in the Name of Love, and Come See About Me, among many others. Her soulful voice and unique personality helped make the Supremes one of the most successful female groups of all time. However, behind those successes were personal and professional challenges that plagued Florence. As the Supremes grew in popularity, tensions within the group, particularly between Florence and Diana Ross, began to rise. Florence eventually left the group in 1967, marking the beginning of a downward spiral in her life. Without the support of the Supremes, Florence struggled with alcohol addiction during difficult financial times, trying to numb her struggles. This led to serious health issues due to excessive drinking, and she was unable to shine again in the spotlight. Sadly, Florence passed away in 1976 from a heart attack at the age of 32. Her battle with alcohol played a significant role in her untimely and tragic death. Marvin Gaye, a talent hailed as the Prince of Motown, undoubtedly brought magical music with classic songs like What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and Sexual Healing. His music not only spoke of love and romance, but also tackled political and spiritual themes, including war, poverty, and social justice. Marvin inspired deeply through his music, making him one of the most influential artists in music history. However, behind the soulful melodies were fierce personal battles. His life was marked by family conflicts, financial struggles, and a turbulent career. He turned to alcohol as a way to cope with the mounting pressures, while his music continued to achieve remarkable success. However, alcohol began to affect Marvin's personal life and career. His addiction took a toll on his mental health, and he increasingly struggled to maintain balance in his life. He also had difficulty maintaining a good relationship with his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., who tragically shot and killed him in 1984 after an argument. While the shooting incident was the direct cause of his death, his alcohol addiction played a significant role in the events that led to that fateful day. Marvin Gaye's legacy is undeniable. He was not only a musician but also a voice for change, a symbol of passion, and an artist who bared his heart through his music. Etta James was a towering star in the world of blues and soul, with a voice capable of both breaking hearts and healing them at the same time. Songs like At Last and I'd Rather Go Blind are timeless classics that showcase her ability to transform raw emotion into unforgettable music. Her influence on artists across generations, from Adele to Beyoncé, highlights her lasting impact on the music industry. However, Etta's life was not as glamorous as her music. She faced many struggles, including years of battling alcohol addiction. Alcohol became a coping mechanism that helped Etta deal with disappointments in both her professional and personal life. In this case, alcohol served as a way to numb the pain or bitterness from her issues, but of course it came at a cost. Her drinking worsened her health over time, leading to physical conditions like liver disease. Etta tried numerous times to overcome her addiction, but her struggle with it was relentless. These health problems also affected her career, leading to missed opportunities and personal issues. Etta passed away in 2012 after a long battle with leukemia, but her struggles with alcohol had already taken a toll on her body long before. Jimi Hendrix stands firm in music history, regularly appearing on lists of the greatest guitarists of all time. Hendrix revolutionized rock and roll with his powerful performances and diverse style. Songs like Purple Haze, All Along the Watchtower, and The Wind Cries. Mary propelled him to the peak of the music world. His guitar work was unparalleled, and his music continues to inspire artists across various genres, many decades after his untimely death. However, Jimi was not only famous for his music, but also for his wild lifestyle, which was sometimes brought to the public eye. The pressures of fame, constant touring, and the need to stand out from his peers led him to turn to alcohol and drugs. While much has been said about Hendrix's drug dependence, alcohol was also a significant issue in his life. Jimi Hendrix passed away on September 18, 1970, at the age of 27, with the cause believed to be asphyxiation from choking on his own vomit. But it's impossible to ignore the role that alcohol and drugs played in his life and death. His early death served as a stark warning to the music world about the dangers of addiction. David Ruffin was the soulful voice behind some of the Temptations' biggest hits. Songs like My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and I Wish It Would Rain showcased his powerful and emotional vocals as the lead singer of one of Motown's iconic groups. David's voice became synonymous with songs of love and heartache, earning him fans worldwide. However, fame also brought immense pressure. The stress of his work, the pressure to succeed, and the expectations placed on him led him to struggle with alcohol and drug addiction throughout his life. These addiction issues created conflicts in his relationships, both with the star's environment and his health. David left the Temptations in 1968 to pursue a solo career, but his ongoing battle with addiction often overshadowed his talent. His struggle with alcohol made it difficult for him to achieve the same level of success he had with the group. On June 1st, 1991, David Ruffin passed away at the age of 50. While his death was officially attributed to a drug overdose, his long-term issues with alcohol had a significant impact on his health and contributed to his early death. Johnny Taylor, known as the philosopher of soul, was an artist with an emotionally powerful voice, a major star in the soul and blues genres with hits like Who's Making Love, Disco Lady, and Cheaper to Keep Her. He became one of the prominent stars of soul music, blending gospel roots with smooth soul. However, while his music celebrated love and life, Taylor's personal life was weighed down by his battle with alcohol addiction. The pressures of the music industry, combined with personal struggles, made consistent performance difficult, and alcohol became both a coping mechanism and a hindrance, affecting his relationships and health over time. Although Taylor had a long career and remained a beloved name in music even during the most difficult times, his charm and talent never faded. The battle with addiction, however, took a toll on his body. Johnny Taylor passed away from a heart attack in 2000 at the age of 66. While his death was not officially attributed to alcoholism, his long-term struggle with alcohol and addiction undoubtedly contributed to his passing. Craig Turner was the eldest son of legendary Tina Turner. His life was often overshadowed by his mother's extraordinary fame, leading to a relatively sheltered existence. While his mother, known as the Queen of Rock and Roll, was a star in the music industry with iconic songs like Proud Mary, What's Love Got to Do with It, and Simply the Best, Her high-energy performances and resilience through hardships inspired millions. However, her son Craig struggled with pain and addiction, which ultimately took his life. Born in 1958 to Tina and Raymond Hill, who was also a saxophonist in the Kings of Rhythm Band, Craig witnessed firsthand the ups and downs of Tina's career and personal life, particularly her tumultuous marriage to Ike Turner. All of this profoundly impacted Craig, along with feelings of abandonment and emotional trauma from his childhood. As he grew older, Craig struggled with alcoholism, a battle that exacerbated his mental health issues. Despite efforts to find balance in his life, he couldn't cope with these challenges. On July 3, 2018, Craig took his own life at the age of 59. Although his death was not officially attributed to alcoholism, his struggle with alcohol and mental illness played a significant role in the pain he endured. Otis Redding, known as the King of Soul, touched listeners' hearts with his powerful voice in timeless songs like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Try a Little Tenderness, and These Arms of Mine. Otis was one of the pioneering icons of soul music, blending raw emotion with smooth melodies, making him one of the most influential artists of his time. Born in 1941 in Dawson, Georgia, Redding did not have an easy path to fame. He achieved great success through relentless effort, starting from small clubs and seeking out larger opportunities. These efforts paid off as he became a beloved name, known for his powerful performances that also had the ability to deeply connect with audiences. However, behind that success, Otis faced many personal issues, including alcohol addiction. While alcohol was not the most significant part of his life, it contributed to the challenges he encountered. Like many other artists, the difficulties of dealing with fame and the constant touring led him to turn to alcohol as a coping mechanism. Unfortunately, on December 10, 1967, Otis passed away in a plane crash at the age of 26. Although his death was not caused by alcohol, his ongoing struggle with alcohol and drugs throughout his career was part of his life story. Phyllis Hyman was a name synonymous with excellence in jazz and R&B. With her emotionally rich voice and powerful performances, she became famous for songs like You Know How to Love Me, Living All Alone, and Old Friend. Born in 1949 in Philadelphia, Hyman possessed a remarkable voice and a captivating performance style, making her a standout star in the 1970s and 1980s. Despite her shining career, Phyllis struggled with personal demons, including depression, an issue that was not often discussed in the entertainment industry. In addition to depression, Phyllis also turned to alcohol as a way to cope with her emotional pain, but this only made her life more difficult. Despite this, her talent was always recognized, and she remained beloved by her fans. However, the weight of the battles she faced became overwhelming. On June 30th, 1995, Phyllis Hyman ended her life at the age of 45, leaving behind a remarkable musical legacy and a tragic story filled with strength and heartbreak. Nina Simone truly stands as one of the most powerful voices in music history, often referred to as the Queen of Soul. She was a singer and pianist with songwriting talent, effortlessly blending jazz, blues, classical, and gospel into a distinctive style that left a lasting impression on listeners. Songs like Feeling Good, I Put a Spell on You, and Mississippi Goddam are powerful works, both beautiful and filled with raw emotion. However, despite her undeniable talent, Nina's life was also filled with difficulties. Throughout her career, she faced racial discrimination, which left her feeling mentally unstable. As a passionate activist, through her music, she fought for civil rights, but the stress and trauma from her professional and personal life began to take a toll on her mental health. She struggled with alcohol addiction, using it as a way to cope with her inner battles. As she grew older, Nina's mental health issues became more severe and increasingly apparent. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and experienced depression and anxiety. Alcohol was a temporary method for her to relieve the pain, but it also contributed to her declining health in many ways. Nina Simone's talent far surpassed the demons in her life, but her later years were still filled with turmoil, leading to her death in 2003 at the age of 70. While alcohol was not the direct cause of her death, it certainly played a role in the struggles she faced in her final years. Bobby Womack was one of the most influential figures in soul and R&B music, with a smooth voice combined with exceptional songwriting talent that led him to timeless hits like Across 110th Street, If You Think You're Lonely Now, and Woman's Gotta Have It. Born in 1944 in Cleveland, Ohio, Bobby started his career early and quickly rose from being a member of the Valentinos to a successful solo artist. He possessed emotionally charged ballads and remarkable vocal delivery, securing his place as a music legend. However, behind all this success, Bobby Womack battled addiction and alcohol. Throughout his life, he struggled with being an addict and an alcoholic. Despite a life under the spotlight with admiration and fame from his music, the emotional demons he faced ravaged his health and relationships. Alcohol was one of the ways he used to cope with the pressures of fame and personal challenges, such as the loss of loved ones and complicated relationships. As his addiction worsened, it began to affect his career and health. Although Bobby tried to overcome his addiction, the battle remained a constant struggle. His health deteriorated, and he passed away in 2014 at the age of 70. While his death was not officially attributed to alcohol, his addiction certainly played a role in the physical toll he endured over the years. Jean-Michel Basquiat was an artist who broke the mold and forever changed the art world. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1960, Basquiat started his career as a graffiti artist and later became one of the most prominent black artists of the 1980s. His paintings, often raw and political, reflected the struggles of black people, racial relations, and social issues. His style combined abstract imagery with language, creating a visual language that resonated deeply with viewers. His works continue to be celebrated today, with many pieces selling for millions of dollars at auctions. However, fame and success couldn't shield Basquiat from his tumultuous life. He struggled with many personal issues, including addiction. Alcohol was one of the substances he abused, along with other drugs. Like many artists, Basquiat's creativity was intertwined with pain, and he turned to alcohol and drugs as a temporary escape from the mounting pressures of rising fame and his inner conflicts. Despite his unparalleled talent, his addiction severely impacted his health. His lavish lifestyle and mental health struggles ravaged him so quickly that he died from a heroin overdose on August 12, 1988, at the age of 27. Although alcohol and drugs had been a part of his life for years, Basquiat's death still came as a shock to the art world. Paul Robeson Jr. is the son of the legendary Paul Robeson, one of the most influential figures in American history. His father was an actor, singer, and civil rights activist, known for his powerful performances in films like Showboat and his role in the fight for racial equality. Paul Robeson Sr. was an icon who stood up for justice, using his voice and platform to challenge racial discrimination in the U.S. and around the world. However, Paul Robeson Jr. faced many challenges living in the enormous shadow of his father. Although not as famous as his father, Paul Jr. still made a name for himself. He worked as a writer and civil rights advocate, but his life was marked by personal struggles, including alcohol addiction. Growing up in the public eye and having to live up to the great legacy of his father caused deep emotional scars. The pressure and challenges of living up to his father's greatness became overwhelming, and alcohol became a way for him to cope. Despite his intelligence and impressive achievements, alcohol caused serious problems in Paul Jr.'s life, affecting his health and personal relationships. While his father fought for freedom and equality, Paul Robeson Jr. struggled with inner demons, including addiction, which ultimately contributed to his declining health. Paul Robeson Jr. passed away in 2014, but his story is often overshadowed by the greatness of his father's life. C.L. Franklin was one of the most famous Protestant preachers, widely known for his powerful voice and inspirational sermons. He was a leading figure in the Black church community and the father of the legendary singer Aretha Franklin, known as the $1 Million Voice. C.L. Franklin's influence went beyond his sermons, as he was honored by both the religious and secular communities. His passionate preaching made him a prominent part of the civil rights movement, using the pulpit to fight for racial justice. However, despite his many successes and influence throughout his life, C.L. Franklin also faced personal struggles, particularly with alcoholism. Alcohol became a way for him to cope with the pressures of being a public figure, as well as personal issues he encountered. His drinking problem severely affected his family, especially his daughter Aretha, who witnessed the decline of her father. His battle with alcoholism took a toll on his health, ultimately leading to his death in 1984. After marrying PepsiCo's executive, Joan Crawford was appointed as the official ambassador for the company, using her fame to further its business interests. And you might be surprised to learn about the perks that came with being the ambassador of one of the largest soft drink companies at the time. Naturally, Crawford didn't pass up this opportunity. As a Pepsi ambassador, she traveled globally, and during these trips, the actress had very specific drink requests at each stop, including 2 bottles of Schaff, a bottle of Old Forester bourbon, a bottle of Scotch whiskey, a bottle of Beefeater gin, 2 bottles of champagne, and of course, a case of Pepsi. But as everyone knew, she rarely drank Pepsi herself, preferring alcohol instead. Elizabeth Taylor, famous for her beauty and talent during Hollywood's golden age, faced personal battles with alcohol and drug addiction despite her success. In 1983, she made headlines by becoming the first celebrity to voluntarily seek treatment at the Betty Ford Center. Betty Ford, wife of then-President Gerald Ford, founded this rehabilitation facility to help those struggling with addiction. Taylor's brave decision not only marked a turning point in her own life, but also had a profound impact on many others quietly battling similar issues. She helped break the stigma surrounding addiction and shed light on the path to recovery by publicly acknowledging her struggles and seeking treatment. After overcoming her addiction, Taylor found a new purpose in life, advocating for HIV/AIDS awareness and prevention research. She used her fame to raise awareness and fundraise for research and treatment initiatives. Elizabeth Taylor's journey from addiction to philanthropy was a powerful transformation, from darkness to light, that encouraged millions of Americans to seek help and brought hope to those in need. Red Fox, the famous comedian, was one of the biggest names in the entertainment world, particularly known for his role in the television show Sanford and Son. His sharp wit and signature lines made him a comedy icon. Fox delivered bold, no-holds-barred humor that resonated with a wide audience. In the 1970s and 1980s, people adored his comedic style, and his career reached great heights in the entertainment industry. However, behind the laughter, Red Fox had a personal life filled with struggles, including alcohol addiction. His drinking problem affected his health and contributed to his decline in later years. Fox was known for his partying lifestyle, with alcohol often being his constant companion. This lifestyle ultimately took a toll on his health, leading to his death in 1991. The issues his body endured from alcohol addiction played a significant role in his early death. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support our channel.